everyone, it's Lindy, and welcome back to Rainbow Body today. So, I am very excited to be back at you with another video. Today, we are going to really get into cosmic consciousness, and we are going to talk about Sirius and our connections or possible connections to Sirius. So yeah, back in August, during the Lions Gate is around August 8th, okay? And the Lions Gate is a portal. And I believe it's a portal to Sirius. After I had my own personal meditation journey where I journeyed to Sirius when the Lions Gate was open. So, it acts as a portal because Sirius, during the Lions Gate, is really close to Earth, okay? And one of my last videos I made was on the Lions Gate and just that energy and what that was about. And some tips to help through the Lions Gate. But at the end of the video, I mentioned that since Sirius was so close to Earth, that it may be much easier to connect with Sirius and Sirian energy and maybe go into a meditation and see what comes forward. And so I actually did that. I connected to Sirius during the Lions Gate, and I was amazed by what I picked up. It was honestly, guys, like, I felt like I got the biggest download I've ever had in my life. Download of information. It was so much that it took me a while to kind of process all of it. I also feel that maybe I'm not supposed to understand this experience in its entirety yet. More will start making sense as I go through my life, but it was definitely a notable experience, a notable meditation journey that is definitely worth making a video on and sharing with you guys what I did pick up from Sirius. So we're going to get into my meditation. I'm going to share that with you guys. And then later I'm going to share with you guys what I then discovered, some esoteric information about Sirius that I discovered after my meditation. Okay, so before I get really into letting you guys know about also the information I found out about Sirius after my meditation, and then what I picked up in my meditation, I just want to explain a little bit about this process. Going into a meditation journey and picking things up, spirit communicates. You get really in touch with spirit when you're able to get in a high vibration state, get in a high state of awareness and clarity, and also detachment from your ego. So when you connect with spirit in this way, like through a meditation, and you really just go on a journey, it is a lot like a journey that I go on in my meditations. When you do this, it is very real, okay? And I know I have mentioned this in some of my videos before, but this experience, I've experienced this enough to know. I've gone into enough meditations blindly. So what I mean by that is not really knowing too much about the topic that I'm going to look into during a meditation. Not really knowing too much about that topic, then just setting an intention for the meditation and then just seeing what comes forward. I get a lot of clairvoyant visions, but I get clairaudience, claircognizance. And I'm very empathic, so I do feel a lot as well. So it's just like a really intuitive, all around intuitive experience for me. Um, Things will be communicated. I mean, like colors, symbols, images, beings. I encounter beings that show me things or explain things to me, or So this world to me is very real, and it took a while for me to develop my intuition and have confidence that this stuff is real. It's like a spiritual language. It really is the keys to, it's like the missing link, I believe. I believe this type of work that I do by going into meditation and finding things out in the Akashic records, or just with my own intuition, this is the missing link, and it's a definite, very important piece of the puzzle that maybe the scientific community is missing, or maybe the religious community is missing. This kind of merges both together, and really, for me, has answered a lot of questions that I've had on my soul, and also helped me discover my cosmic connections. Okay, so I went into this meditation for to find out about Sirius. I set the intention to connect with Sirius and the Sirian energy, and then I asked that it please be shown if I have any Sirius connections personally, or if the collective does as a whole. So if humanity, what role does Sirius play in our growth and evolution, and in our DNA, and just how are we connected to Sirius? And I really didn't know that much about it going into it. I had heard that the Dogons, a tribe, I think it's an African tribe, don't quote me on that, but it's an old tribe. They're named the Dogons, and they have origin stories that say that we came from Sirius, that human beings came from Sirius, and Syrian beings Syrian beings taught them their language and many other aspects of their society. So I heard about that, but all the other information I knew about Sirius before this meditation journey was basically just scientific. Okay, I didn't know any esoteric information on Sirius or anything. So this was all new for me, and I made some miraculous discoveries, and then later made correlations to these discoveries outside of myself, doing research. And this is a great way, actually, that I develop confidence in my intuition. I would recommend it to anyone who's really trying to build confidence in their intuition or develop their intuition stronger. Go into meditations not knowing too much about the topic, and do some research. You don't just have to be the lotus, where you can actually do work in your meditations and find things, miraculous, amazing discoveries out. So anyway, I set the intention to see if we had any connections to Sirius, and I was amazed and blown away by my journey. So my journey started out at the Great Pyramids in Giza. That's where my journey started. And then from one of the tops of the pyramids, there was a golden white light that then just started to engulf me, and I started to be carried in this light. It was very golden and bright, and just felt so divine and safe. I think it was like a portal of light, and I started moving through the light, and then an archangel came to greet me. Now, the archangel didn't introduce himself, okay, so I'm not sure if it was Archangel Michael or Raphael, or I'm not sure, but it was definitely an archangel, because It was a male, and he was really big and strong and muscular. He was wearing a Roman style like armor on his chest, and just very Roman looking with big, huge wings. Okay, so he definitely was an archangel. He greeted me, and then he started taking me. I was like following him through the golden light. So he actually guided me and acted as a guide for me to Sirius. Okay, so from the very beginning of this meditation, there were connections to the pyramids. So I'm thinking, okay, Sirius is somehow connected to the pyramids. Some pyramid, maybe it's the pyramids of Giza. And then I'm greeted by an archangel, so there's something very maybe heavenly about Sirius, about this place we're going. So we got to Sirius, and the first thing I was taken to when I got to Sirius was a very physical dimension of Sirius. I started picking up on a lot of colors. I picked up on really warm colors, so a lot of pink, red, orange, and yellow, and this beautiful desert landscape with a pink sky and fluffy clouds. I picked up on that. Okay, so maybe that was a physical aspect of Sirius that I picked up on, with like a pink sky. I mean, it was gorgeous. Then I started hearing reptiles, like almost like dinosaurs. And I started picking up a really strong reptilian presence. So that was very, very interesting. Yeah. So I'm still kind of trying to put that together and, you know, simmer on that a little bit more. But I'm just going to share the highlights of this meditation with you guys, because it was jam-packed full of information, and I don't want to take up that much of your guys' time, and it would probably get boring, you know. So, the next highlight is I again asked if I had any Syrian connections, or if there were any connections, human beings had any connections to Sirius. And I was immediately brought to this beautiful woman. This is one of the most intriguing parts of the meditation, guys. So I connected with another being, and I also drew another picture for you guys that I will show you. So I connected with a Syrian beautiful woman, okay? And she looked like very, very humanoid. Like, one of the first things I noticed about her is she had these huge, striking bluish green eyes, and they were like really big and almost like cat-like. I mean, like, I didn't think of that right away, but then I'm like, okay, these eyes kind of look like a cat's, but like even more intense than a cat's eye, and very blue and green. So, and then the next thing I noticed about her was she had really long, dark, almost black hair, and she was wearing this really big, beautiful green emerald necklace that was like stunning, and she was wearing a really beautiful white gown. So I have so far got to draw an outline of her. Her name was Shakti. And I'm going to show you guys some really interesting correlations I made with that name, Shakti. This is Shakti. That was her name. That's how she introduced herself. Now, see, like, she looks very human, but then I realized, after I had been looking at her and trying to get a good look at her for a while, that she was a lion being. She was a very, like, divine, divine feminine being. Okay, and I also think too that she overall represents divine feminine energy from Sirius, because as I found by her name, and I will tell you some interesting things about this woman I came across. We Sirius is divine feminine energy, and it's actually looked at as our mother star. I will get more into that later. So just meeting this one being, she was a lion being, she was like gorgeous, and her name was Shakti. Just by that, I could then later go and like look into more information, like, okay, what is the meaning of Shakti and this and that. And this is a great way to interpret your meditations as well. They're packed full of information. You just may not know it. You may not know it. Everything that comes forward is some kind of message for you to take in, and it's important. So there's not just like random things in meditations. Anything after you set your intention, everything that comes forward is something for you to take. It's a message for you. So anyway, Shakti was in this beautiful, gorgeous, like it looked like a cathedral or like a really fancy church, and there was gold trim around all these big, huge windows, and I was just picking up gold, a lot of gold. And of course, gold represents like royalty, but also like gold is like heavenly. It's associated with the heavens. And so this just looked like a very heavenly place. And I started to realize that this place was really sacred. And I started to realize that this was a non-physical dimension of Sirius. So I'm picking up that it's multidimensional. Sirius is multidimensional, and the higher aspects of Sirius, human beings are very connected to. And I actually am wondering if maybe Sirius is where we go in the afterlife. That's like how this meditation got me thinking, like, wow. And I know that that's like very profound to say, but I think that there are some definite soul afterlife connections to Sirius. I do believe now that ascended masters go there. It is a school, a very high density school. And our souls definitely go through Sirius. If anything, we pass through Sirius on our way to being incarnated here on Earth. Okay? So at the very least, that's going on. We're passing through. We're very connected. It's thought of as our mother star. So to wrap up this meditation, I'm just going to tell you about the golden beings that I encountered before I went back home. These golden beings, they confronted me, and they were presented to me like gods. Okay, so, just very heavenly as well. A lot of heavenly themes in this meditation. And they called themselves the Council of Sirius. And they all had glowing gold skin, and even like golden eyes. And some of them were bald. Some of them had this white, like wispy kind of hair. But they said some really personal things to me, and really empowered me, and then sent me back through the golden white light. I met up with the angel again, and we went back to Earth, and then I came out of the meditation. And so it was a very profound and like awesome experience for me to do this. It took me a while to process it. I feel like I'm still processing it. I'm only sharing very important aspects I feel that have to do with all of humanity, not just me personally. And actually, I think that I'm going to wrap this up and then make a part 2 video to let you guys know everything I picked up or I found in my research on Sirius after this meditation. So where the meditation kind of guided me to go. Because my battery is getting low and yeah, and the video is getting long. So I will see you in part 2 of the Sirius video. I hope you enjoyed